Okay, okay. Can anybody hear me out there? Sound check, sound check. All right. No sound. Somebody said no sound. Okay, what about now? Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, hello. Hello, Robin Latham, Blue Aqua, Sergeant Friday, Laurie Ingram, Annie Potts, Dorota, American Princess, Agape Love, what's up? Maryland Soul Love. All right, we got us getting it started. We're getting it started. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Happy Thursday. All right. Okay, I want to give maybe 2 minutes to shuffle my notes here, and then we'll get started. And then later on down the road, I'll be taking questions and whatever else you need to get out. Okay? All right. I see there are some people still coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless each and every one of you. My day was pretty good. How about yours, Robin? Thank you for asking. God bless you, Leslie. Thank you. One made nut. I know you're in here somewhere. I believe I saw your okay, everybody's laughing at this latest series. I'm glad you guys really like it because I mean to me this trial is getting funnier and funnier. God bless you, Agape Love. All right, I think I have my first images ready here. And so give me a minute to switch my screen and we'll get right to it. Getting ready to have a big weekend, somebody. Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, we've got a pretty good number in here now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. That's my messy makeup and junk room where I make these recordings. I got so much makeup on my face, my iPhone doesn't even recognize me. You know, I'm saying to the phone, it's me. You know it's me. You know it's me. And the phone wanted, I have to use my passcode when I got on this much makeup. And then while I'm telling the phone, stop playing, it's me. One of the kids will come and say, who are you talking to? All right, let's stop messing around. It's time to stop messing around and get started. Y'all laughing, but it is gonna be he's gonna get several awards. Okay, and a couple of them gonna be issued by bank personnel in the finance industry. That part. All right. Now, I'm not sure why my screen didn't change. Okay, hopefully the screen will catch up with me. So this is an article from Fox News that says Brian Kohberger indicted in Idaho student murders. Y'all not gonna be serious. All right, we got Annie Potts in the house. Where's the other Annie? Annie Ruler. Where's your twin? You got to keep up with your twin. Party UV5. All right, all right. Brenda, welcome, welcome. We're gonna get started. Okay, and you know how I get kind of too engaged while I'm reading and talking. I might forget to look over there a couple of times, but give me a chance and I'll catch everybody over there sooner or later. Okay, now the grand jury, that is such a predictable event. And it seems like the grand jury was there to speed things up. Okay, cut to the chase. But really, it was to slow things down. And I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Because that preliminary hearing would have been a mega disaster for the prosecution for an endless number of reasons. Okay? It would have been catastrophic. All right? And so in order to stop the preliminary hearing, that's the only purpose of the grand jury. That was the only purpose. Yeah, we got one of them in here already. We already got Annie Potts. We're just waiting for Annie Ruler. She'll be here. That's our set of twins, Leslie. That's our set of twins. Okay. Now, what was I saying? Well, we know that the preliminary hearing would have been an absolute disaster, catastrophe for the prosecution because, number one, they have so many loose ends, and then we have some other things that are still coming loose as we speak, like the DNA and whatnot. So, I mean, they still have ends coming loose to tie up or whatever. And so they had to bring the grand jury. And it makes them look bad because with this slam dunk case with this undeniable evidence, why couldn't you prove that you deserve an indictment in a preliminary hearing? Why did it have to be without the defense present in the grand jury? Why? Why? I just don't understand why. Because you weren't ready. You weren't ready. And so now you need more time. Okay, the defense asked for 6 months, and now the prosecution is going to need more time. They needed more time just to do a preliminary hearing. Did you hear what I just said? The prosecution needed more time just to be able to do a preliminary hearing. Not just trial. They weren't ready for the preliminary hearing. So you know they're not ready for a trial. Ain't that right, Leslie and Vicky? Leslie Vasquez, Vicky Gutierrez. What's your opinion? Hello. I have so much reasonable doubt. Yep, I know that's right. I think if we have any more reasonable doubt, I mean, we'll have to go in there and sit with Brian Kohberger in jail until the trial. You know, because it's so ridiculous. Okay, it might start protesting outside the jail because this is just ignorant, some of it. But as I was saying, the prosecution was not prepared to present their case in a preliminary hearing. Now that's a sad situation. Well, Agape Love, why are they not saying whether or not Kohberger's DNA was found at the crime scene or victim DNA in his car? It's hocus pocus if you ask me. Well, they probably can't say that. They can't say that it was in the crime scene or his car or his apartment. They can't say that. If they could say that, they would be ready for a preliminary hearing and everything else. They would have sent him down the river psychologically a long time ago. Why? I'm gonna put this in the chat. This is very important. So I'm gonna ask you. That's my question. Why can't the prosecution slam Brian Kohberger psychologically by now? Forget the trial, forget the preliminary hearing, forget his arrest, forget all the other potential suspects. Right now we have Brian Kohberger in this small Latah County jail doing whatever. Why haven't some of these headlines or a combination of headlines, why haven't they sent him down the river mentally by now? Is what I want to know. Because, I mean, even an innocent person will confess when they get up under enough pressure. Right? Haven't you heard of people that confess that didn't do it just to get out of the interrogation room? I think American Princess, I think they also did the grand jury because DM and BF probably wouldn't have did well in the cross-examination. True. Shout out to American Princess. Leslie Vasquez, I didn't know this could happen. I wonder what Ann Taylor is going to say, if anything. She knew it was going to happen because her and Brian are the ones that put the pressure on them to make it happen. Okay? The reason it happened is because of Ann Taylor and Brian Kohberger. They got so much pressure on them, there's no way they were going to show up to that preliminary hearing. All right? He's smarter than them. Robin Latham, they don't stand a chance in that department. Who do you think going to do that? Opie. True. Shout out to Robin Latham. All right? They did right not to show up to a preliminary hearing. Okay? So are we not going to hear what Bethany had to say? You're going to have to hear it at trial, if it goes to trial, because more things can go on behind the scenes than a grand jury. And then if Ann Taylor can get them in check, there won't be a trial. And it's not too late for that. The way this is going, that's still on the table for me. That's on the table for me still. Agape Love, Opie or Gomer Pyle. All right? Gomer Pyle or Forrest Gump. That's right. Renee Phillips. Hey girl, what's up? Peanuts from Pennsylvania in the house. Hey Chat and Mods. Hello Renee, and I'm glad Pennsylvania is in here. All right? Because guess what? We know Brian Kohberger is not slow because he's from where? The PA. So we know he's not this green Forrest Gump or Gomer Pyle fella just for the fact that he was on the streets in Pennsylvania. That's just common sense. Annie Potts, GJ is likely to keep the exculpatory witness from speaking at the preliminary. Well, the preliminary is over with. You must be in the trial because the prosecution made sure there was not going to be a preliminary because they weren't ready. Agape Love, I'm guessing Kohberger will school them good. Kathy, now Ann Taylor and her team can file a motion to get the grand jury indictment dismissed, especially if prosecution never sent any exculpatory evidence to the grand jury. True. Shout out to Kathy because, like I said, all these moves been made real fast and in a hurry and under the table. But guess what? Even if it's under the table, the light's still gonna come out. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Agape Love, the town that received over $2 million in funds for this case. More than that, they received more than $2 million, and they received it from more than one source, one or two sources, and they received donations from people that just want to see justice for the families. All right, more than $2 million. Okay, and Ann Taylor's on the clock, but we're gonna get to that next. Listen, I keep hearing people say the defense probably didn't even talk to Bethany yet. I said they went the next day. What, are you kidding? What is that? Robin? Yeah. I believe they did talk to her. I believe they really don't even have to talk to her. They just need to verify because they already know what she said. She went on record because they said in the PA that they received statements from both of them. So they have to have a statement from both of them on file with the police department right now because they said in the PCA that they had that. So they have to have that right now. And so it's just to verify what she said because her statements are already on record. And if they're not, it's a problem for the prosecution. What's up, Aaron, Estes Park? Shout out to Aaron. Brian will go up one side of the prosecution and down the other. They won't know what hit them. It's already started, Aaron. You right on top of it. It's already started. That's why that grand jury popped up like it did. All right. Amen. Amen. Ha ha. Sergeant Friday. The judge at the PMH would have thrown out the arrest because the state said the touch DNA would not be a part of any trial. The indictment was a way to go around the judge. Exactly. Shout out to Sergeant Friday because of these keywords thrown out. Remember, the series is Brian about to get a bond. If he would have went to preliminary hearing, I believe he would have got a bond. Okay, if y'all want to keep going with this guy, we will, but we're gonna send him home with an ankle bracelet to his family because I mean, they have a defense here. He's not. I mean, he's a student around here, for Christ's sake. He was anyway. We need to send him home on bond. We're saying our own student is not civilized enough to be on bond. That's what Washington State is saying. And Idaho is saying he's not civilized enough to be on bond, but yet he was teaching the kids over at WSU. But he was teaching y'all's kids for you, doing your job for you at Washington State, and now y'all all voted in the grand jury for him to stay in jail. So that's an oxymoron. That's irony. I don't know if it's, I don't know what to call it. You know, satire. Let me put that in the chat. It's satire. That's what it is. This is your own student. You trusted this dude to teach your students at WSU while you somewhere else. And then now you telling us that you voted to keep him in jail because he's not civilized enough to come out and go sit with his parents. That's what you're telling us. Because, of course, WSU was at the grand jury putting their vote in the ballot box, right? The public wouldn't go nuts because a lot of them know that this is bullcrap. A lot of them have sons, and they know they would go ballistic if somebody told them your son is sitting in jail for quadruple murder because somebody saw his eyebrows and we got your husband DNA out the trash. Don't you know if it was some of these families, some would have got shot up by now. And then for them to sit for 6 months and now you saying you're not even going to use the DNA. It already did, shout out to Robin and Kathy. It already caused the 3-ring circus because it's not even coming to court. And the internet sleuths across the world have already said they don't believe the Sheath story. So you might as well throw it in the trash where you got it from. Because guess what? The internet sleuth world and viewers have already said they don't believe it. That's another thing we're going to get to, Agape. They're doing better for Kohberger to be inside than out. Hell, listen. It's better for him to be in jail so he won't get swatted. So he won't get swatted. Who said that? Agape. Shout out to Agape Love. Listen, at least he won't get shot up by the FBI in there. You know? He won't OD on fentanyl in there, or maybe he will. It's too soon to tell. It's too soon to tell, but maybe he will. Maybe the jail is the safest place right now until they pull a Harvey Weinstein or what's the one, Jeffrey Einstein, you know, Jeffrey E. I don't know what his name is, but he, you know, we don't know whether he killed himself or whether somebody killed him over in prison. Has anyone heard that James Fry's wife, Julie Fry, works at the courts and handpicks the grand jury pool from registered voters? Of course she does. It's all in the family. Y'all need to shout out to Kathy. Y'all need to watch my video. It's all in the family. It's all in the family. It's all in the family. And so guess what? Cody Funk related to Bethany. What did you say about him? All right, is he all in the family? What? All right. It's all in the family, American princess. It's all in the family. It's all in the family. And it's just getting ready to get worse. It's just getting ready to get worse. All right? I'm going to change my screen. Give me a minute here. Give me a minute here. Because I just want to make sure we all on the same page that the grand jury was necessary. Okay, it was necessary. Okay, let me take this off. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is my Murphy video. And this is loading slow, so I'm going to just get back on my oration. And when this loads, I'll put it up because it's running slow and I want to keep talking. All right, so what I'm saying here is I want to talk about the Murphy video. It's pretty much the best performing one so far by far. And, you know, I'm really excited and grateful about it. But in that video, in the Murphy Exposes Dylan video, we had 3 people. We had, let me put it in the chat. In the Murphy Exposes Dylan, we had the DoorDash driver. We had the dope dealer. And we had, who was the third possibility? Just a stalker. That's what we had. We had the stalker. All right. I put that in the, you didn't even write it. Let me put it in there. We had the DoorDash driver. We had the drug dealer. And we had the stalker. All right, put a pin in that. Let me take this down, because That's not what I wanted. Let me take this down. All right, I'm gonna have to pull it off my page. Just 1 second, please. I won't hold your time too much longer. Hold on just a minute. Oh, I can't do it like that. Okay, well that's all right. We'll go back to this. Oh yes, I can. Now let me see what you're saying about that, because the masked marauder in the tree line and Jack in the back of the house. Julie Fry's name is on a lot of paperwork too, as she signed it. Yep, that's right. That's right. It is. It is. And I'm going to tell you something else. I want to pull this up because I want to talk about it all together so you understand exactly what I'm saying. I want to load my picture first. And then we get ready to talk about the dope dealer, the stalker, and the DoorDash driver. Okay, I'm almost finished. 1 second. All right. Okay, in this particular video, I discussed 3 possible people that were driving the white sedan. We don't know what it was, I guess, but we were saying that it could be the DoorDash driver, it could be the stalker, or it could be the dope dealer. And I'm gonna tell you where we made our mistake. All right. This is the front of that video that I'm talking about. Okay, I guess it'll load. All right, so we're talking about the stalker, the drug dealer, and the DoorDash driver. The mistake that I made in this video was considering that the DoorDash driver and the drug dealer could be the same person. They weren't mutually exclusive, is what we call in statistics. Okay, mutually inclusive or exclusive. Can one thing happen without the other thing happening? Well, in my Murphy Exposes Dylan video, they all could have happened. They could all be the same person. The DoorDasher, the drug dealer, and the stalker could actually all be the same person. So we couldn't just sit there like I did it and treat this as 3 potential suspects, because the drug dealer, the stalker, and the DoorDash driver could all be the same person. If a person bought a fake DoorDash, or they ordered a DoorDash and received it and used it as a ruse to get in the house, or a ruse to fool the police, or to stage the crime scene, however they got that DoorDash bag or any food, the DoorDash driver, the drug dealer, and the supposed stalker could all be the same person. If there was a stalker, if there was a DoorDash driver, and if there was a drug dealer involved, which I believe it is, all 3 of them could have been the same person. So now we have that problem. All right, Justice A to Z. There are stories that Murphy was wandering around outside the house that morning. Shout out to Justice. I heard that before. I heard that several times. I've heard it, and I know for a fact that that dog wasn't walking around the house when some killers came in and just went in the room and they shut him in the room, or maybe one of them put him in there or whatever. I don't believe the dog was there. I don't believe the. Hold on, let me put this shot out for AZ. All right. Welcome, Justice. Thank you for joining us, Justice A to Z. I was talking, I wasn't looking up. Steve, Kaylin, all right. Opie is the mastermind of the whole operation. It's starting to look that way. Steve, shout out to Steve. For joining in. I always got something great to say. Somebody must have carried that dog out. He would have had blood all over him if he walked. All right, shout out to Robin. It's just the truth. Shout out to Robin Latham. It's just the truth. I mean, we're not speculating on some of this stuff. It's just the truth. Somebody put him in that room before the 911. Shout out to Annie Potts. I mean, we're not speculating anymore. We're not even speculating anymore. We're not even speculating anymore. This is stuff that just had to be the truth. It just had to be the truth. And in this video where Murphy exposes Dylan, it was a good start, but we were treating these people as if they were mutually exclusive. I think that's the one that means one cannot happen at the same time as the other. And if I got them mixed up, I mean the other one. But they're not mutually exclusive. All of them could happen at the same time. And then the dog went to the shelter. Why didn't they just call Jack D to come get the dog from the house? Agape love. Yes, I remember Murph was said to be outside and he was taken to the dog shelter where Jack D allegedly picked him up. He did. He picked him up at 4:30. Shout out to Agape love. It's a lot that these people around the neighborhood know that's being suppressed, because they did tell those things at the beginning before they started talking about gag order this and gag order that. Before they said all of that, people in the neighborhood were talking and they were telling these things. The front door was open. The dog was walking around the neighborhood. That let you know Dylan and Bethany were not in the house. One maiden nut. If Murphy was moved around or carried around to the room, then due to the constrained timeline, it automatically rules out Brian. Shout out to one maiden nut. One maiden nut, exactly. All right, and that was another problem in Murphy exposes Dylan. I had a problem with how Murphy got in the room in the first place. And this man had about 9 minutes, if that, to get in there and do everything. And on top of that, he's got to put the dog away? That's insane. That's insane to even say something like that. That's exactly what it was, Annie Potts. Shock and awe campaign. Shout out to Annie Potts. All right, somebody put out a missing persons for Annie Ruler. Did Annie get in yet? Annie Ruler, the twin. Catherine Thomas. I love subconscious mouse critical thinking. So do I. And he has a sexy voice, doesn't he? That's why y'all listen to him. Y'all like to hear subconscious mouth talk with them sunshades, sitting there taking it all in, listening to his voice and all of that. I know. I can feel it. Shout out to Catherine Thomas for bringing up subconscious mouth for all his fans in here. All right? Why didn't Jack D come to the house immediately? Didn't he live right there? That seems weird to me. That's what I said. Shout out to Robin. Shout out to Robin. Because guess what? Wouldn't if Bethany, listen to me, if Bethany and Dylan were the first were in that house and they called other people to the house, okay? When they called people to the house, they would have called Jack at the same time to come get that dog. But they couldn't do it because they weren't there. They weren't there. If Dylan and Bethany were in the house at the time of the murders and they woke up at some time and turned around and said, let's call the police. Soon as they were conscious of what was going on, they would have called Jack to get the dog. JD was and still is suspect to me in speculation. Cough, cough. Yep, I agree, Agape. He's not off the list as far as actually committing the crime or having a motive. Because be honest with you, Kaylee had left. Kaylee was gone. Kaylee was on her way to Europe, Texas, and Europe. And so now all of a sudden, she's back there for one more Lang Syne. What's the name of this song? All Lang Syne. I love that song. I don't know how to spell Zion, but I know that's all Lang. How do you spell Zion? With a Z? Going down Old Lang Syne. We drank a toast to innocence. We drank a toast to hour. I love that song. Okay, it was said initially that DM and BF had rooms on the first floor. Right. And so that's why they had to put, shout out to Agape. This is why they had to put Dylan in the PCA, because her room was on the second floor. And somebody on TikTok proved that her room was on the second floor before they even arrested Brian. Well, according to the PCA, Murphy is on Officer Nunez's body cam being in the room. But that could have been a setup. I'm going to put that in the chat. Okay, Murphy was supposedly on Officer Nunez's body cam, and then when Opie and Officer Smith came, they saw the dog being in the room on the body cam. This is what the PCA says. That's not written in stone as what happened. Steve said Ann Taylor is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay, well, what did I say on my last video? Shout out to Steve. Steve said a wolf. Shout out to Steve. Now that we have that out of the way, okay, Annie Potts, by the time Opie gets there, Murphy gone. That's why Opie only saw Murphy on body cam from 12 to 4. Someone had Murphy removed. Shout out to Annie Potts. True. And then they have a record of, they have him on record, Jack calling the animal shelter at 4:30, if I'm not mistaken, asking for the dog at 4:30 that day. If I'm not mistaken, I've read this and it says for that day, 4:30 in the afternoon on that day. Now, let me take this down and move on to the next thing. It takes just a minute to load. Now, here's to my next point. This is another problem. This is another problem that the prosecution has and gonna continue to have because it's too late to fix it now. It's too late. Y'all hold up. I see somebody talking about Jeremy. Just give me 1 second to get through this point and then we'll get there. Okay? Or matter of fact, I'll speak on it now. South North Park. Shout out to South North Park in the house. Appreciate you. All right then. Shout out to South North Park. And let's see. I think Jeremy saw more than we know. He went down to have his DNA checked when law enforcement never showed up to his place to obtain it. All right. I bet that DNA being excluded is because of all that mess in the PCA not to protect identities. Well, what do you mean by that, Robin? Shout out to Robin and Agape. All right. So I saw that Johnny Law went through the floor plan and he said that they think that DM had moved to the second floor. This was before the suspect was arrested. Are you saying, shout out to American Princess, are you saying she moved to the second floor after the crime? Now that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Are you saying she moved up to that bedroom after the crime so she could say she saw this foolishness happen that she said she saw? Wow, wow, wow. Let me write that down. All right. Let me go back to my point list. All right, take this off. Okay. I want to talk about Bethany. Okay, it should be loading. The screen should be loading. The hard truth, no, it sounded like she was in the second floor before the crime happened because he got the floor plans from the management company. Yeah, but that's the floor plans. Is that proof? Do we, well, I could tell you it probably was before, but somebody on TikTok proved that that was Dylan's room real early. So you're right. We had proof early on she was on the second floor when they were trying to make us think that she was on the first floor. We already had somebody on TikTok had already looked at the air vents and everything and said, that's not that's her room on the second floor. Remember that? Do you remember that? Sergeant Friday, it's a nightmare. It's like arresting me for forgery based on discovered documents. They're saying they're not relevant for any trial. Laughing my blank off. Yep, you're right, Sergeant Friday. It's a dirty game, I tell you that much. Okay, I can't use that photo for some reason. All right, well, whatever. I'll just use the map. All right. So now, another mistake that prosecutors made. My computer is just really sitting here just lollygagging around. I want to give some shout outs. Okay, shout out to American Princess and Sergeant Friday. Mold is beautiful this time of year. Shout out to Scott 2296. Shout out. You never disappoint. Just when we think it can get no more abstract, you surprise us. Shout out to Scott 2296. And where's my picture? Is it loading or what? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, another problem we have is they did not hide Bethany far enough away. Okay? Bethany, they should have sent Bethany further than Nevada. Okay, what do you think about that? Because they did not hide Bethany too good because she had to come right on back out and do what she's got to do. She had to come right on back out. Oh, trying to say stuff. Thank you. Who is that? Ah, Sergeant Friday, the hard truth. What's up? What's up with you? I'm so happy to see you in here helping keep it live and jumping. Huh? Shout out to Sergeant Friday. I start right there. I was looking down. Thank you, Robin. All right. I'm going to give you a brain because you're talking good tonight. All right. So if you get a brain, you really said something big and unique. That's our new communication in the chat for these lives. If you get a brain, you know you really said something. Okay? I'm talking about something intellectual, something a mind teaser, or something that's really challenging us to think. Okay, so I'm giving out brains for those. Okay. The hard truth, you're right about the photos from. Anybody that tells me I'm right gets a brain. American Princess. Anybody that says, you're right, hard truth, you get a brain. How is that? Is that weird or what? All right. Who was trying to say something? Annie Potts. It's no coincidence Bethany be hiding in Nevada and Brian cut through Nevada when he left Washington. Okay. Does she have a valid point? Annie Potts. Uh-oh. I'm gonna give you a brain for that. What y'all got to say about that? Did he stop through Nevada? Did he stop in Nevada? Altered soul in the house. At least the defense knew what was going down. That's why she brought the new lawyer in and filed motions so it could be documented. Shout out to Altered Soul. That's right. Shout out to Altered Soul. What about the brain on the dumpster? What what you mean the brain on the dumpster? Justice. I live in Reno, Nevada. In Mary's memory. Oh, we got somebody in Nevada, Reno. Shout out to in Mary's memory. Shout out to in Mary's memory. Okay, you get a shout out just for being in Nevada. Because we got somebody in PA and we got somebody in Nevada now. Yeah, yeah. They didn't take her far enough away. What you gonna leave her in Nevada for? Usually when you don't want somebody to testify that has something to do with it, you take them out of the country. Somebody did go out of the country. And Mr. G said that he did not take a DNA test. Now, who was that? Who was that? Who didn't? Who did Mr. G say did not? He said they did not take a DNA test. And then the guy ran to Africa. Who was that? Yeah, they should. What hoodie guy? Brian Kohberger can challenge the indictment in Idaho Supreme Court, and I suggest his defense team do so. Shout out to Sergeant Friday. He can appeal it, and he should quickly. And a lot of people probably didn't even know he could appeal the grand jury. We didn't even know it could be challenged. A lot of people think that grand jury indictment is the last word. I bet you. I bet you. Adam went out of the country and Jack S went to Africa. Altered Soul. Shout out to Altered Soul. That's what I was looking for. Okay, Adam went to who went? Okay, Jack Sherwalter, I think, went to Africa. She said. What? I don't know. All right, where's my emoji? Right. All right. Jack Showalter. Right. Thank you. And Mr. G said he did not take a. Mr. G publicly said that Jack Showalter did not take DNA. I don't have a file with me, But I can find it. If somebody doesn't believe me, I can find it. No one mentioning Dave Loach, aka Dirty South, fight with Ethan. All right, well, let's talk about it. Dave Loach. Shout out to Agape. The hoodie guy. Jack S is the hoodie guy, okay? Jack and Jill went up the hill. How long has Adam been in France? Probably since November the 14th. Justice A to Z. Dad who dropped his kid off at the frat house that night was puzzled by a brain sitting on a dumpster and decided to report it to the cops on the Tuesday, the November the 15th or November the 22nd. Hey, don't try to say I'm involved because I thought of this brain emoji. Justice, I'm going to give you a brain so we both look suspect. Isn't that weird that I just start thinking about using the brain? And they found a brain on a dumpster? You know, all this sounds like witchcraft to me. I mean, brains and skinned animals and butchering people's children. I think it's safe to say somebody is doing some voodoo or hulu or something. They're doing something. Why is the prosecution claiming witnesses are being threatened when no one knows who the witnesses are? Shout out to Annie Potts. Okay, we thought we knew, didn't we? We thought we knew. But let me tell you something. Bethany was not in that house when this stuff happened. She just wasn't there. The only way Bethany was in that house when all this stuff went down is if she took part in it. Okay? If Bethany did not take part, Renee, oh my goodness, I still think he is involved. Okay, let me go back. Ethan called Loach out for steroid use and told him his people were shriveled up from steroid use. All right, shout out to Agape's comment. Go see what I'm talking about. I almost missed it. All right, shout out to Agape. You're handing out brains like the Wizard of Oz. Reminded me of that crap. Justice. Okay, I won't give you Justice. I won't give you a brain. They do look kind of weird, but I am gonna keep giving them out. I'm gonna find you another emoji since you don't like the brain. All right, well, I don't think you want any of these. All right, I found one for you. I thought I did. There you go. I need a brain. No, you can't have it. No, you can't have it. Like not big, but athletically built, etc. Nah. Who are we talking about? Dave Loach? We're talking about who? All right, we need to move on to my next point, please. I'm gonna be looking in the chat. I'm not gonna let it lapse this time. Hold on, let me find my notes. Now, this is something I want to point out. Let me see if I can find my picture right quick, because I'm telling you, this technology, okay, I found one. Leave that open. Now, here's something that I want to point out about Brian. Okay? The fact that he is, we brought up the fact that, we talked about the fact that he was going to bring this expert testimony of damaging effects, and it sounded real fancy, and the prosecution decided to hurry up with this grand jury so they don't have to worry about hearing any of that. Okay, he put it out there via Ann Taylor that he was ready to go as far as defending his case, and not only that, he was going to start with something high level. Not only did he say expert testimony, he told you what kind of expert testimony it was going to be. That lets you know how prepared he is. He didn't just say, well, stay tuned for the trial. It's going to be some expert testimony. He told them to their face, I'm going to have some expert testimony, the damaging effects of media coverage. So whether I win this case or lose this case, I got an appeal in my pocket just from all the media. All the stuff y'all put out in the media and all of the things that happened because you put it in the media, whether it was true or not, that's my appeal right there. It's in my pocket. There's nowhere in the world y'all gonna be able to kill me. And the longer I stay in prison, the more popular I get. The more valuable my book's gonna sell for. The higher I can be able to charge for my books, the longer you keep me in here. Because if you let me out tomorrow, they'll forget about me in about 4 or 5 months. But if you keep me in here long enough and keep me in the news long enough, I'm either going to become a martyr or a billionaire. That's what we're looking at on the poker table right now. I don't want to bring out my poker table, but I might have to. I might have to bring out the poker table because this is what's on the table for him right now. I don't know what everybody else is seeing. Just because he's locked up, so what? It's a lot of people locked up. It's people locked up right now for a traffic ticket. Okay? I mean, they'll all be in the same jail. There's a lot of people locked up. So what? That doesn't make him guilty. And even if he's locked up and he's guilty, they don't put him in the electric chair. They have to earn all of that. It's called a democratic legal system. And as corrupt as it is, it presents problems when you ain't right. And Brian Kohberger let him know, I'm getting ready to come break dance in front of y'all's prosecution table. I'm gonna break dance, do the robot, do a James Brown split. I'm gonna do all that right in front of the prosecution table. That's what he's telling them in this last document. And so they say, oh yeah? You think you're finna get out there and do a Michael Jackson on us? You think you're finna get out there and dance like Michael Jackson and make us look like idiots? We got a card we're gonna play on the table. It's called grand jury. Where Ann Taylor's not even invited. You know you're not coming. You know? We don't want to hear nothing you got to say. So the expert testimony of damaging effects is what sealed his fate, because they might have been debating on whether they were going to have a grand jury or not. Okay, whether it was a good move or a bad move, because they can't afford to make too many more mistakes. But when he started talking about expert testimony of damaging effects, you know, that was the time right there, because he might have bonded out. He would have bonded out at the preliminary hearing. As it stands right now, the game does change. It's still some more cards in the deck. But right now, he's got a pill in his pocket just from media coverage, gag order being totally disregarded, pretty much. I mean, he got an appeal card and get out of jail free card. He got 2 of those cards in his back pocket right now. And he didn't have to go to no psychic or nobody to get those cards. They're in his pocket right now. He didn't even have to pay. He got both of those cards in his pocket right now. Because of expert testimony and damaging effects, he could have been bluffing. He might not have anything prepared for expert testimony. His expert testimony might actually be him getting up there saying, I'm innocent, to the jury. And the media did me in. That might be all he had to say. But it was enough to spook them. It was enough to spook them, the prosecution. His expert testimony might only been a few words. In his mind, in his imagination, it's going to be some big presentation. But in reality, it might only been a few words. Like when I was little, we used to have to say an Easter speech every Easter. Okay, we used to have to say an Easter speech. And since I was so young, Brian gonna solve the case from the Tar County Jail, Annie Potts, breakdance. Shout out to Leslie, Annie, and Robin. Because that's who I see when I got back to the screen. Leslie, Annie, and Robin. Yeah, you know you're gonna be up there doing a Michael Jackson and everything else. Or at least that's the way they perceived it. And decided it just wasn't a good idea. They can't assassinate him right now. So we gotta shut this guy up. We gotta shut this guy up. And that's where the grand jury came in. Now, yeah, well, Altered Soul, I'm gonna give you a shout out, but I'm gonna challenge what you're saying. Okay, you said the state knew they needed that grand jury. The fact that they did not come with a grand jury in the very beginning shows just how much of a slam dunk he thought that PCA was. And I say he because I say Opie, because it was him and no one else that pushed that PCA through. And I'm gonna show you something else here. Hold on. Let me get Altered Soul a shout out. Let me show y'all something. Y'all waking up all my points I forgot. All right, let me show you something. It might take me a minute to get it on the screen, but it's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. I'm gonna show y'all something. Let me take this down. Or make it smaller. We don't need that. Okay, let me get my picture up of the document. I want to go back to this because there's a point I need to make that I didn't make yet about it. Okay, hold on. Let me change my screen. Now, I'll get to your comments in just 1 second. I just want to change my screen. All right. Quickest way to keep an exculpatory witness from speaking and prevent the defense from countering your case, go to a secret GJ. It means you have a rock solid case. Sarcasm on the last sentence. Annie Potts. All right, I'm going to give you a brain for that. Shout out to Annie Potts for giving us this perspective on Hold on, let me find the brain. All right. Okay. Yes, that is why they stalled all these months, because they knew in the end they needed that secret grand jury. I think they knew in the end. That's okay. That's the magic word right there. In the end, because in the beginning they thought they had a slam dunk, can't tell me nothing case, and they just didn't. Well, if you believe all of the stories, they did, but they didn't. And I'm just waiting for my screen to refresh so I can bring the best point of the night. All right, hopefully it'll change. I just sat it down there. Try to make it a little bigger. All right. Try to make it a little bigger. Let me turn the volume off of this device. All right, now I can see what you see. All right, if you will look, this is hard truth. Teach, I need to say something. Come on with it, Robin. If only I had a brain. Okay, should we get Justice A to Z a brain? Yes or no? Can we vote right quick? Should we get Justice A to Z a brain or not? Type yes or no. Yes or no? Does Justice A to Z, does she get a brain? I'm gonna wait for y'all to vote. Robin said Justice needs a brain. Robin Latham, I had stepped away from the chat. I don't remember it. It just saw it mentioned online. Let me try to find it. I've been trying to tell you. Annie Pot said yes, give Justice a brain. One maiden nut, yes. Aw. Go Robin, say it, sis. Okay. It's about time, Teach. I was trying to change the picture on my screen, Robin. You know I'm trying to learn this technology. If I miss your comments and you guys have something important to say, type it in there again. You're going to get this brain, Justice A to Z, zombie trap. Okay, let me give it a brain. Nobody said no, so I guess I have to give it to you. All right. Okay, Justice, I gave you the brain. You didn't like the crime. Why, I don't know. So, listen. Let me go back to the scene. Oh, I just learned how to do something by accident. All right. I want you to look at the first part up here that says page 14 first. Renee Phillips, Heart, Shrews, Me Too, Love Some, SM. All right, Renee. All right. Oh, the video game with the zombie brain eaters. Well, we got our own version of Gotti. Uh-huh. we have our own version of the zombie eater game. We using the brain the way we want to do it. All right. Now, let's see. Page 14, quickly, because we still got plenty of time for me to take all your questions and comments and suggestions. We have plenty of time to do that. We have plenty of time to do that. All right, so let me get my point out, and then I'll come back and see what's going on. I don't see Donnie either, Agape. Is Donnie Smith in here? I didn't see Donnie. She is in here. An attorney said this is a jury for probable cause, not for the actual murder. So if he's guilty for probable cause, he's going to court for murder. Shout out to Donnie Smith. I didn't even know you were in here. My bad. And I'm going to give you your brain. All right, thank you. Thank you, Agape. She's in here. All right, so thank you, Donnie, and thank you, Agape. And Renee. Oh, it was American Princess that said Donnie Smith. Okay, American Princess, Agape. Yeah, I know, Robin. Okay, shout out to Agape, Robin, and Kathy. All right. Now, let me go back to my screen. I need to talk about this. I want to show you one powerful bombshell that's been that's sitting here, right here right in front of our faces. It's not hidden anywhere. It's not hidden anywhere. Okay, listen. On page 14, this is where he pretends like the FBI training is his training. And he says he got all of this information. All this information. I'm on the page 14 part of it. He got all this information, CAS, SA, special agent. He got all of this from the FBI. Okay? In a consultation. Because he never said he submitted anything to the FBI. And he never said the FBI gave him anything back. All he said was that he consulted with them. Now, look at the one that says page 17 at the bottom. This is the bombshell. After consulting with CAS SA, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. Now this is a bombshell. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th word. After consulting with the FBI, might as well say, I was able to determine. Do you see here that Opie didn't even say we as in MPD? Let me put that in the chat. He didn't even give his colleagues credit. He said, I was able to determine. He didn't even say we as in me and the fellow detectives or the Moscow Police Department, we. I mean, we couldn't get a we. He said, I was able. I was able to determine estimated locations. We get into that part. Shout out to Sergeant Friday. Shout out to Sergeant Friday. And you get a brain for that. Listen, he said, I was able to determine. Let's do that, the narcissist part first. Let's do the narcissist part first. This is a narcissist, okay? He is taking credit for everything from this sentence onward, and he just got through trying to pretend like he had the FBI's experience, or that he actually even got the FBI to use their experience. He did neither of those things, according to his own words here on page 14. But on page 17, he said, I was able to determine. Remember King Nebuchadnezzar? I'm going to try to spell that. Nebuchadnezzar. Is that how you spell Nebuchadnezzar? Listen. This is the narcissist at work. Opie said, I was able. Do you remember when Nebuchadnezzar was standing up and he kept saying, I? And then he ended up in the grass, digging around in the grass for something to eat. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar kept, I'm gonna just abbreviate because I don't know if I'm spelling this right. Nebuchadnezzar kept saying I. And look what happened. Remember when Nebuchadnezzar kept saying I. And he never, it's just mind-blowing to me that Opie is not giving credit to nobody in Moscow Police Department. I can understand him not wanting to give credit to the FBI and these external agencies that are not local, but to take credit from his own colleagues, now that's a stone-cold narcissist. That's a stone-cold narcissist to say in this fraudulent PCA that he determined. He broke the case. He came up with the pings and tracked this car. He looked on there and saw the cars and put it to Brian Kohberger. He did it all. He did it all. I was able to determine. I was able to determine. And then let's look at Sergeant Friday's point. How do I highlight people's names like you all do mine? Is it in a setting? Is it in a setting? Or who's highlighting? Help Sergeant Friday. What was I? Okay, listen. Sergeant Friday brought up a great point. He said he also pointed out estimated locations. Not only is Opie the one that did this by himself, according to his own words. According to his own words. He did it himself, and those locations are estimated. How much worse can it get? He's the one that determined it. Not even anybody in Moscow Police Department, just him by himself. Mighty Opie did this by himself. Not only did he do it by himself, but the locations are estimated. Can it get any worse? Can this become any more inadmissible than it already is? Can it get any more inadmissible that he did it, not even with his colleagues, and the locations he came up with are estimated? He's saying this out of his own mouth. WSU is in the top 20 schools in criminology. CJ Penn State is known too. However, Brian spent his whole life in Pennsylvania. I don't blame him for leaving. Shout out to Jennifer F. That makes perfect sense. For somebody to want to get away from Pennsylvania after they grew up there and were, experiencing the street life and stuff and had been there all his life, he needed to leave. He needed to leave. Excellent point. And guess what? WSU is in the top 200 schools now. Because not only did they put Brian Kohberger on this murder. Somebody died after him on WSU campus. You know? Jennifer, thank you. And then let's see Agape. Magnus Cybersecurity is in Montana, and cyber investigator on the case was there when Brian went months before 11/22 happened. Kaylee was given an internship in Austin with an IT company. Wow, that's a lot of information. All right, shout out to Agape Love. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? In Montana. All right. Interesting, Agape. It is. It is interesting. It's very interesting. That's something we're going to have to look into. All right. Shout out to Agape for that one. Listen, it's like he's running the whole show and wants everyone to know it. Shout out to Robin, because it's so narcissistic, but it's unbelievable that he would do this. He would be a narcissist about this, and the information and the PCA is not even true and right. I mean, how could you be so proud and jump and put your stamp on something that's not even legitimate? It's not even right. Oh, Sergeant Friday, you leaving us? Okay. One more shout out to Sergeant Friday. Uh-oh. I almost called you Sergeant Fry. Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been really bad if I would have called you Sergeant Fry. All right, here's your signing off. Much love, much love, much love. All right, Kohberger was a threat to the dirty dogs, in my opinion. I think it was Pullman PD that BK applies to. Right. Have a great night, Sergeant. True. Okay, what about this though? We see he's a narcissist. He's a narcissist. He's telling us he put this PCA together, and it's clearly true that he did, because it's just downright awful. I'm just gonna say it. There is a lot wrong with this PCA, and I'm not saying that to badmouth Opie. I'm saying this generically. Whoever wrote it, whoever had a part in writing it, it could have been a better job. That's all I'm saying. And more than one person worked on this. So it's not all Opie's fault. He should be able to say, well, this is what happened, and have somebody come behind him and typeset and proofread it and make it tight work and then publish it. That's not his job. The typeset and proofread, his job was to put the PCA together and then have somebody come behind him and check the grammar, the formatting, and all of that. And he just didn't have that here. Because there's a lot of stuff, typos and stuff in here that let you know they just let it fly. They wrote it up and let it fly. All right. I was wondering that the other day, someone pointed out that the defense asked for video of Payne's interview with Brian, and I wonder if it could have possibly been from that. Just Amber, shout out to Just Amber. I'm trying to understand what you said. Hold on a minute. Shout out to Just Amber. Now, hold on now. I was wondering the other day, someone pointed out video of Payne's interview with Brian. I wondered if okay, according to Brian's lawyer, and this was way back when he was still in Pennsylvania, according to Brian's lawyer, he was interviewed for 15 minutes. He initially agreed to talk to police, and after about 15 minutes, he asked for a lawyer. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Okay, and if I can find it right quick. Hold on, let me find it right quick and take this down. Okay, I'm going to take that down and put something else up I need to talk about on this same level. So y'all hold up on the chat until I can get back and see it. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, so let's see. We need to make this to where y'all can call in too, so you can hear somebody else's voice besides mine. All right, I found it. Give me 1 second to change my screen. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Moscow didn't want him. I want to see Brian and Ann blow this corruption up. Yep. Shout out to Agape, Just Amber, Altered Soul, and Jennifer S. All right. Now, this is from the article where Brian initially was willing to talk to police. Let me put the first part of it up there. Right? All right, here's my where is my screenshot? Oh. All right. This has got to go. That was the wrong one. All right, this is the right one. Now this is part 1 of that conversation. Okay, here it comes. Okay, this says LeBar told Law and Crimes and Jeanette Levy that Kohberger spoke with law enforcement for 5 to 15 minutes at the Pennsylvania State Police Barracks following his arrest early last Friday morning. Initially, Kohberger waived his Miranda rights, but then requested an attorney. LeBar said Kohberger told him that police asked his client if he understood what was going on, and he responded by saying something to the effect of, "Yes, certainly I'm aware of what's going on. I'm 10 minutes away from this." Then LeBar said Kohberger invoked his right to counsel and asked for an attorney. This all happened in 15 minutes. Is it that she agreed to testify the same day as they announced the GJ? No words is hard to follow sometimes. There were two victims who had parents busted big time. I'm going to tell y'all something else y'all didn't notice. Who is this I got here? Alter Soul, Robin Latham, Jennifer S., Agape Love, and Annie Potts. And also, I see somebody else up here, and Just Amber. Listen to me. Did you notice this? Let me put it in the chat and see who noticed this. I'm going to see who can get a brain off of this one. All right, did anybody ever pick this up? That only the students who had cars were killed. Only the students that had cars were killed. When you look at all of these pictures, shout out to Stephanie Ellis Anderson. Shout out to Stephanie. I understand, Agape, but they keep saying that it's not available because they don't have body cam. That's what the prosecution said as to why they didn't have it overall. I saw it with my own eyes, okay? Agape, I understand that FBI is required by the Department of Justice to wear them, though, when assisting. So even if prosecution never got PSP body cams, AT can request them from the FBI. Annie Potts. Stephanie, LOL, I'm so sorry I joined late. That's Robin Latham's line. You took Robin's line. Sorry I'm late. Yes, Bethany and Dylan did not have cars. Okay, AP, no biggie, hon. I'll rewatch. Yes, we're going to have to do that. Do we know for sure that neither of the two surviving roommates didn't have cars? On all of the pictures I see the same cars. I see a Honda for Xana. I see the truck, the Rover for Kaylee. I see the red Jeep for Ethan. And I see the little white Corolla or Honda or whatever it is for Maddie. Those are only cars you ever see in those pictures. Before and after. That's it. Yeah. Uh-oh. Agape Love just had a deja vu. Let's brace ourselves. Let me get the brain ready. I already know. What is it? Now listen. Only the students that had cars were killed. I mean, does that mean anything? Does that mean anything? Right. The red Jeep was Ethan and Hunter, and the black Ford SUV was the sister. That's right. That was not neither one of them were Dylan or Bethany's car. How will we ever know if Brian was separating trash into Ziploc bags at 2 a.m. without them body cams from Pennsylvania? Shout out to Annie Potts. Shout out to Annie Potts and Becky Schreider. If Bethany didn't own a car, whose car was she driving when she got a ticket in Pullman for driving too close? You know, that's a good question, Becky. Maybe we can find out the truth about her car ownership from that ticket if we go back. All right, shout out to Annie Potts and Becky S. That's right. All right? It was just something that came to mind right now when I heard about the GJ because of the timing. That's right. The grand jury, I told y'all before, I told y'all in my first, is Kohberger gonna receive a bond? I told you in that first episode that Brian Kohberger was gonna make sure he didn't get a preliminary and that the grand jury was coming. I showed you what was coming out. And these body cams, I would like to see the body cam of Officer Nunez for Murphy being in that room. I would like to see that one. Maybe she was driving Brian's car. Altered Soul. Shout out to Altered Soul. Because you just found a connection. You just found a connection. You get a brain and a heart. You just found the connection I was talking about. Neither one of those girls have a car. Dylan or Bethany. So they would be most likely to be driving Brian's car. Remember we said the dope dealer, the DoorDash driver, and the stalker are interchangeable. Yes, Dylan and Bethany. Neither had a car. $100. I'm gonna put a bang, a pow on that one. Cause that was a good one. Dim and Bethany did not have cars. So guess what? They would have been driving Brian's car, right? I'm gonna leave that alone because I need to make a video on that. Now I want to bring out something Steve Kalen brought out. One of my subscribers, one of my dear subscribers. And let me bring the caption in right quick. I'm going to take this off of here because Brian already told him. Okay, he already told him I need an attorney and I'm going to have to fight this. He already told him. Now, let me get his comment right quick. I wanted to put this up for Steve. I'm almost there. I can't do it that way. All right, let me try this. I should be able to do it this way. All right, so I might just have to write it. I'm going to just write it so we can hurry up. So we need to talk about this anyway. And this is by this statement was by Steve Kalen. All right, let's go. All right. Now, it's loading. Everybody knows Steve. He might still be in this chat. I'm not sure. If you hear Steve, this is a shout out to you. Now, I don't know if you can see it yet, but it says that Ann Taylor works for the state. So let me ask you this. Can Brian trust Ann? Because I want to talk about this proxy. And I'm going to see what y'all think. Okay, Steve Cannon said Ann Taylor works for the state. In other words, we have an issue here with agency. Okay? Who is Ann really loyal to? Hard truth, when I heard news at the grand jury, first thing came to my mind was Emma agreed to testify against BK so she'd get less time in her current case. Okay, yes, but let me think about that, Robin, because you know what? First of all, we have attached Emma to Brian because of a car that really looks like it's the right car. I mean, if I had to bet money on whether that car was on one of those body cams, I would bet on it. I mean, obviously I can't say 100%, but I would, if I had to bet on that white car that was shown in Truth and Transparency. If I had to bet my money, if that was a car on one of those body cams, I would bet. I would place a bet. I'm just be honest with you. But the reason why I brought up Ann Taylor in the first place is because I believe Brian really want to represent himself. But if he doesn't want to just say, I'm going to represent myself and get rid of Ann, it's smarter for him to keep Ann as an attorney, especially until everything gets started. And then once the trial gets started, Brian going to be doing a lot of the talking and interviewing, if not all of it. Kathy, shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Kathy. Wouldn't it be wild if the grand jury indictment is actually for all the corrupt officials? LOL. Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be justice? Ha! Shout out to Kathy for having a good time. All right. Shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Kathy. All right, so I don't believe he's gonna keep Ann Taylor as the leader. I don't think he's gonna keep any of the attorneys. As I don't believe Brian Kohberger is gonna let Ann Taylor or nobody else represent him. He's gonna represent himself. When the trial starts, Brian gonna represent himself. All right. I think so too, Annie and Robin. Shout out to Jennifer, Annie, and Robin. Okay, back to what do you think of my theory? I got that vibe. I just got that vibe. I just got it. Once the trial start, Brian gonna tell Ann Taylor, hey, you can step aside. You can step aside now. And he gonna bring the case. Shout out to Agape Love and Alter Soul, Kathy, Just Amber. I'm gonna have to stick all y'all in one shout out. All right, I'm gonna still do it. Shout out to Agape Love, Jennifer S, Kathy, and Alter Soul. Who else we got in here? And Just Amber. How many hearts is that? I got a whole crew here. I'm gonna give y'all the 100 for sticking it out there like that, right there. All right. Well, Tanita 75. He doesn't know about the law. LOL. Shout out to Tanita. Shout out to Tanita 75 for saying he doesn't know the law. Well, that's why he still got Ann Taylor there as a proxy. Okay, you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first on the hard truth. Ann Taylor is a proxy. As soon as the trial starts and it's time to shuffle those papers, Brian Kohberger gonna come in there in a suit. Nah, y'all can't handle the truth. All right, then. I don't think so. I think he's right there on his case, but he knows it's better his team stays the same. I keep saying she will hire him when this is over. Okay, we're going to have to watch that one, Alter Soul. Shout out to Alter Soul. We have to watch and see. I don't believe he's going to, because remember, well, in my opinion, Brian is a narcissist too. Judging by that traffic stop, the one where we actually see him talking, the WSU traffic stop, he's a narcissist too. Opie and BK are both narcissists. So it's already hurting both of them. Okay? Opie narcissism to jump in head first with that PCA without enough experience. And I expect Brian to do the same thing or something to that effect. To jump out of a bowl full of experience and be the Lone Ranger. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. All right, it's time for a potty break. It's 10:41 Eastern Standard Time. I'm putting a pin in the live for 2 minutes. So everybody that needs to use the bathroom or whatnot that's not using a phone can do so. So I'll be back at 8:44 because it's 8:42 right now. All right, that's 2 minutes. So if you want me to read your conversation, hold it for a minute. All right. I made it back. Okay, I made it back. Got me a little snack. Hopefully you guys got a snack. Now, we're talking about Ann Taylor. And basically, I believe that both of these guys are going to pretty much be in the same on the same, level. Brian is more educated. I think I'm just say that. I'm not sure where Opie got his degrees from, but I just feel like Brian has a little bit more going for him as far as decision making in criminology. I'm going to look something up. Becky Strider. Ryan will need Ann Taylor. She has the rest and the resources that he needs. He just watch her like a hawk. Shout out to Becky. Now listen about that, Becky. That's what a sensible person would say. But a narcissist might not say that. A narcissist will say, nobody can represent me better than I can represent myself. That's what the narcissist is going to say. The narcissist is going to say, I got this. I can handle this. Even though I don't have a shred of experience, not one endorsement, I can handle this. That's what a narcissist is an expert at. And look at Ted Bundy, in there in a suit every day trying to practice law. And look how many people he killed. We know he killed them. I can too, Jennifer. Shout out to Jennifer S. I can too. Especially when you finally, came face to face with him and got close enough to his life to really find out who he was. Yeah, I agree. Thank you. We are the people and we want honesty and fair trial. No shenanigans. We ain't going to get that, Robin. I'm going to give you a shout out, but we're not going to get that. We're not going to get that. We're not going to get that because it's too much corruption already. I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what's going to happen. Because like I told you yesterday, they're not trying to let Brian Kohberger get up there and flex and make people look like fools and walk home. And I'm going to tell you why. His life really is in danger. Brian Kohberger's life really is in danger. I'm not speaking nothing on him. I pray that he get a fair trial. And I also pray that he will be able to get home to his family soon if he's not the person that did this. All right? That part. But there is so much corruption that has already taken place on such a low level. It's not on a high intellectual, it's not on a poker or a chess level. It's really checkers. That PCA is really checkers. It's not Texas Hold'em, and it darn sure ain't chess. This case can create a lot of case law and affect trials nationally in the future. I agree, Agape Love. I agree. BK, I'm sure, knows all about his rights and the Constitution, where a lot of these attorneys nowadays work for the state. True. But should he trust her, though? Agape and Kathy? Should he trust her? I mean, you shouldn't trust anybody. Not on. I mean, you know what I mean. But I'm just saying, should he really try to draw from her to try to save his life? Agape, I said the same thing. Think Epstein right in everyone's face. His life is in danger. His parents need to try to get him out of there. Because once a dog is cornered, he becomes more dangerous. Once an animal is cornered, they become more dangerous. And so the further along, shout out to One Maiden Nut. I thought you had turned in for the night, One Maiden Nut. Thought you had turned in for the night. Tanya Caffey, welcome. Shout out to Tanya Caffey. All right, let's get the show on the road. What I was saying was, these people have their own agenda. And that's what we call the agency problem. I'm going to put that in the chat. The agency problem is that everybody's related to somebody. Everybody has some reason or some association to where they're not totally unbiased. Everybody. He is observant. I agree, Jennifer. He is observant. But what I want to know is, do you think he's going to take over his trial? Look at what the guy did that drove through the parade. What's his name? Right. They go another shout out to One Maiden Nut. We're on the same page. We're on the same page. Me and One Maiden Nut. We're on the same page right now. Because guess what? Okay? They're gonna need a way out. That's the problem here. And that's what I'm gonna address in my next video. Because this is where we are. Okay? We got plenty of time to drift off and speculate over who actually did the crime. But we can't go off in the hood speculating on who did the crime and leave the primary suspect without, keeping an eye on him to see where this is going and to get as many clues as we can from him. Because that's where the answers lie. That's where the answers lie. That's where the answers lie. I think he needs to use her. Just having the lawyer gets you further than without a lawyer. Even if you are a lawyer, it's better to have a lawyer. I think Brian knows that. Shout out to Becky. This is the part y'all missing, though. This is the part that y'all are missing. The people that keep saying, I think Brian knows it. I think Brian knows it. Listen, narcissism is the game changer here. A narcissist will say, I can defend myself. Why should I? Why should I need a lawyer? I can do this myself. That's what a narcissist will say. That's what the narcissist will say. I have contemplated Kaylee found something in her deep diving, and that was her primary reason for heading to Europe. All right, shout out to Agape. All right, and so we have about 10 or 15 minutes left to get some points in, because we have a lot that we can talk about. We have, hold on, Robin. Okay, the last comment or before that? All right, here it is. I think it's a huge deal to Brian to come out of this on top, to show his family and be able to take care of them in the future. That's beautiful, Robin. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Shout out to Robin Latham. Wouldn't that be beautiful? They're counting on him. They're counting on him to do some of that. But what if he does do that? And in excellence. What if I mean they're looking for that. They're looking for that. All right, Altered Soul. I think if he found that out, that would be the only way he cut her. Okay, what about the fact that she knows Xana's mom and all these other people? What about the fact that Ann knew these people? How would you feel about that? And that's supposed to be your lawyer. How would you feel about that? And that's your lawyer. How would you feel about that? If that was your lawyer. And not only is that your lawyer, that was some of the victim's mom. Now, you guys are going to have to help me with one more point. Let me find it. All right. Now, on the subject of Emma and Demetrius, we're still at a point where we can't even exonerate Brian Kohberger. I don't have enough information to address these two right now, honestly. All right. Scott said Kopaka is where the answers are, in my opinion. Shout out to Scott. Because I was talking about this before. Scott. And I'm just going to say it, We don't have a 911 call identity for Moscow. We don't have a 911 caller identity for Kopaka. For me, That's a connection right there. I don't have to go looking for any more. That's a connection right there. I don't care much for it either, Stephanie. I think it's a bunch of rich, wealthy corruption. Shout out to Stephanie and Just Amber and Jennifer. All right. I don't know what happened. All right. So let's just say this. The prosecution needs a way out. Oh, you're welcome, Jennifer. You're much love to all of you. I appreciate you so much. Much love to each and every one of you. You guys are the best. I really enjoy sitting down and having conversations with you. Now we've been in session for a while. I certainly appreciate each and every person. Okay, I forgot to put the information about donations in the community page, but I will. If you would like to donate, I have a Cash App and PayPal on the community page. If you haven't subscribed or come in and liked a few videos, I'd appreciate that. Whatever you uh, decide to spend your time on or invest in, I appreciate it. I really don't care what it is. Thank you in advance. Thank you. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, it's very life changing for me to be able to meet with you guys and to make stuff for you to watch. I really love it. I really do. Okay, and I love talking about wisdom, things that have wisdom associated with them, and I enjoy doing it with you guys. And so we're gonna have another live soon. All right. And let's see, it's a little after 11 where I am. We love you too, Agape. Definitely, uh, everybody here, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I think I've said thank you. And if I haven't, thank you to each and every one of you for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of you who have donated. I appreciate you. Some of you, you're just faithful. I don't care if it's $3, $5. What I don't care. I mean, every dime, I just thank you because we're just trying to have a little platform here and we're doing it. It's not so expensive. There are certain things we probably won't be able to do here in a minute as far as the type of videos that I can make. But other than that, we're doing it. Okay? And so to each person that even thought about donating to the channel, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. And you will receive a receipt end of the year statement for everything that you donate to this channel. You'll receive a end of the year statement. So if you want to write it off on your taxes, you'll be able to do so. Because I don't think people should throw their money in the wind with no paperwork behind it. Okay? And if you would like to have a paper receipt for each donation, just email me and I'll see to it that you have a paper receipt for every donation if you need that. I think that I covered everything. All right, and so I'm going to disconnect the stream at 11:12. Good night, one maiden nut.